Sanavunatu Saviriyam Karvavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deva Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Those of you who had come for the Tattvabodh class, if you remember the invocation we used to sing. For those of you who are new, so you can just repeat. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram. So Hari Om and salutations to all. This invocation that we sang was to invoke the grace of the Lord and the Sadguru, and also the text which we are going to do, Sadhana Panchakam, is written by Adi Shankaracharya, so we remember him also. So the topic, Sadhana Panchakam, the topic we have given is 40 spiritual hacks to happiness. Happiness, many of us have known, we have come earlier. So happiness is of two aspects. One is the mind which is quiet. A peaceful mind is a happy mind. And in that sense, happiness does not lie outside anywhere, but it is our truth, the nature of our own mind also. So peace of mind is a happy mind. Calm mind is a happy mind. Conflict-free mind is a happy mind. And going one step deeper, a mind which has learned to be happy is a mind which will inquire into the state of permanent happiness. Because even peace of mind is temporary, comes and goes. So our demand is for being happy at all times, in all places, in all situations. So our demand is actually for permanent happiness. And how to experience that permanent happiness is when I tune myself to that which is permanent. So body, mind, intellect by itself being changing and temporary. When I transcend my attachment to these three, I experience my true nature beyond the mind as permanent happiness. So to do this, the means that we follow is called sadhana. And the goal that we have, that is the goal of happiness, that goal is called sadhya. So these four words are very important. One is sadhya. Sadhya means the goal. Our goal is what? To be happy. Whichever way we understand. Happiness, I want to experience here and now as a peace of mind. Or happiness as the permanent happiness, as the self. That is the goal, sadhya. The means to that is called sadhana. And the person who is seeking this goal using this means, that person is called sadhak, seeker. And when I attain that goal, that state of fulfillment, experiencing which nothing remains to be experienced more, the emptiness goes away from life, then that person is called Siddha, or the fulfilled one. So sadhan, sadhya, sadhak and siddha. This you can apply for anything. I am a seeker of a job, I am a seeker of MBA, I am a seeker of wealth, I am a seeker, whatever. Whatever is the goal, I, the seeker, use a means, that is the sadhana, to attain that goal. So when the sadhak attains the sadhya, then that person becomes siddha, attains happiness, attains that state of fulfillment. The topic is spiritual hacks for happiness. The word hack is a computer terminology also. You hack into a system, you hack into a computer. It also implies a lot of smartness. And in some ways it implies breaking the rules. And spiritual life has both. Spiritual life is a life which is a choice of a smart person. Gurudev said very nicely, spirituality is neither the privilege of the rich, nor the choice of the poor, spirituality is neither the exact quote I forget now. It is neither the privilege of the rich nor the choicelessness of the poor. It is the choice of a wise man. The essence of the quote is that. So a wise person chooses this path, because the direct path to happiness is to inquire within. So it is a smart, and there are smart ways to experience that. So in this book you will find 40 smart ways that Shankaracharya has given to experience both peace of mind, happiness of the mind and happiness of the self. And hence this is Sadhana Panchakam. 40 spiritual hacks to happiness. You can apply any one also and start. And it is a very beautiful composition. So we saw sadhana means the means to attain the goal. And in this context, it is the spiritual means to attain the state of mind or the happiness of the self. Panchakam means 5. So these are 5 verses written by Shankaracharya. And each verse has 8 instructions. Hence they are 40 instructions. Now this Sadhana Panchakam is the last composition of Shankaracharya. So in many ways it is also, if you read the whole Sadhana Panchakam, from the first step to the last step, the entire spiritual path he has covered in stages. From where to begin, so what sadhana to start with, and what is that last sadhana which helps one to experience the state of fulfillment. So if one knows Sadhana Panchakam, one knows the whole spiritual path. The essence of lots and lots of scriptures he has put down in these 40 instructions. And it is a book which is a very practical book. You will have 40 practical ways to implement, to make the mind experience what it is learning, to experience happiness. So when many of us have been asking what to do, how to do, this book is that, how to do. And each instruction can be applied in our life. So it is good for beginners. It is good for somebody who is seeking practical implementation. It is good for somebody who does not have time. If you want to know what is the essence, just know this. So Gurudev's commentary also is so small on this much only it is. You can finish this in how much? 1 hour maximum. So it is like a pill, fatafat you can have. It's like that. Spiritual capsule. 40 instructions in Sadhana Panchakam. And anybody who is an advanced Vedantic seeker also has enough and more instructions to follow in this, because it covers everything. Now, this Sadhana Panchakam is not commandments. It is an instruction, it's advice. So one, it is not saying you should do this, it is saying you can do this. Hence we call this as not Adesh but Upadesh. It's an advice. It is not that you must do this, if you don't do this, this will happen. Not like that. It's an advice. And he says if you do this, this is the result you will get. That's the beauty of our culture, is the freedom part. It will not be imposed. The freedom is always there. And instructions are given, one can follow. So let us begin this text, Sadhana Panchakam. Beautiful composition and advice that is given by Shankaracharya, and his, we can call it his parting advice actually. You take page number 3. Vedo nityamadhiyatam taduditam karma swanushtiyatam teneshasya vidhiyatam apachitihi kamye matistyajyatam papaugha paridhuyatam bhavasukhe doshonusandhiyatam atmecha vyavasiyatam nijagrihat turnam vinirgamyatam. This is the same tune as Yakundendru Tusharahara Dhala. So, can we try together? Let's chant. Vedo nityamadhiyatam taduditam karma swanushtiyatam teneshasya vidhiyatam apachitihi kamye matistyajyatam papaugha paridhuyatam bhavasukhe doshonusandhiyatam atmecha vyavasiyatam nijagrihat turnam vinirgamyatam. So the very first instruction is Vedo Nityam Adhiyatam. Study the Vedas daily. This is Swamiji, first instruction, bold. It's like first ball duck out, batsman. How to study Veda? So complicated, such a huge book, Sanskrit, and every day study the Veda. Let us see what that means. So one is Vedo Nityam Adhiyatam. Then second one, Taduditam Karma Swanushtiyatam. Follow the instructions that are given in the Vedas. Perform the diligent duties as explained in the Vedas. Teneshasya vidhiyatam apachitihi. Then dedicate all those actions to the Lord. Kamye matihi tyajyatam. Give up selfish desires. Papaugha paridhuyatam. Cleanse all the negativities. Bhavasukhe doshonusandhiyatam. Constantly think about the limitations of sense pleasures. Atmecha vyavasiyatam. Consistently seek the self. Nijagrihat turnam vinirgamyatam. And very quickly get out of your house. You'll say, what is this, Swamiji? All kinds of instructions which are not possible to follow only. And first class only you have said, get out of your house. We'll see what all this means. Each of them are very beautiful, actually. So, Veda. Now, many people ask the question that for Hindus, for Christians there is a Bible, for Muslims there is a Quran. For the Hindus, what is the book? What do we say? Majority will say Bhagavad Gita. In some ways today it is become so much more popular and easy to relate to that we say it is Bhagavad Gita. But actually if you see the authority for our culture, Sanatan Dharma, is the Veda. That is our book. Gita is the essence of the Upanishads which are in the Veda. So what is this Veda? We must know very clearly. See, literally, vid means to know. Vid, root word, vid means to know. And Veda is Vedyate Anena. That by which we know. So the book by which we know, that book also is called Veda, but literally the word Veda means knowledge. It does not mean book. Veda means knowledge. And knowledge of what? So knowledge of everything in this world. Because Veda is like a treasure house of knowledge. How to live in this world, everything is given in that book. What are different professions, how to work, how to live, relationships, personal life, spiritual goals, desire fulfillment, everything is there in the Vedas. So one aspect is it is knowledge, and it is a body of knowledge which covers all branches of knowledge. Now Veda also is, when we say it is knowledge, does knowledge have a beginning? Yes or no? Knowledge has a beginning, or discovery of knowledge has a beginning? Knowledge of gravity exists from when? With the creation. From the time it is there, it is there. But somebody discovers it at a point in time. So knowledge does not have a beginning. Knowledge, does it have an end? Application of knowledge may have an end. So we should know this very clearly. Discovery of knowledge has a beginning, application of knowledge has an end. But by itself, knowledge does not have a beginning, knowledge does not have an end. And hence, it is said that Veda is Anadi and Ananta. It is beginningless, endless. How is this Vedic knowledge brought out? So what we have to know is all knowledge lies within our own heart. The whole process of education actually is a process of revelation. That is a Vedic process, that is the Gurukul method, where the person is taught how to reveal that knowledge within oneself. And some methods are given so that you go deep within, you reveal. And something which has already been revealed is also told to us so that you don't put in that much of effort to know it. So Vedic knowledge is also knowledge which is a revelation. Great masters, in their quest for certain different disciplines of knowledge, different questions that they had about oneself, about life, many external things, when they pursued this knowledge, when their mind becomes quiet, single-pointed, tuned up, the knowledge is revealed. So revelation is a very important means of knowledge. Intuition and revelation is an important means of knowledge. Lot of scientific discoveries also happen through revelation. So that knowledge which is revealed knowledge, and the moment we say revealed knowledge what does it mean? that the person has not created that knowledge. The knowledge was revealed to that person. Person is an instrument to whom this was known. Like Newton, the law of gravity was revealed to him. Now when we say revealed, lot of people think that one devta is there and that devta reveals that knowledge to that person and all that. No, it is not like that. It is an intuition. And the mind which becomes pure, capable, tuned, the knowledge is revealed to that mind. Hence we say that the Vedas are apaurushaya. They are not created by a human being. The knowledge in the Veda is not created by human being. It is revealed to people who Gurudev used to call these masters as subjective scientists, the rishis. In their quiet moments of meditation, a lot of knowledge is revealed to them. Now, orthodoxy will say Veda is Anadi, Ananta, it is a revelation, it is hence the word of God himself, and so you should not change anything in that, and one must follow it just what is written in that as it is. And many people get turned off by that because it is put in that way, as though these are some very strict, rigid rules and which God himself has revealed, and now you have to follow those. But that is not the way in which this is. The Veda is not supposed to be like that. It is like science. Does science have any founder? Can you say there is one founder of science? What is science? It's a body of knowledge. Many scientists have put their efforts, and the knowledge that is revealed to them has been compiled together, and then you have textbooks of physics, chemistry, biology, all that. Many different great masters have inquired about life. Revelations have happened to them. Those have been compiled together, and that is the book. As long as those principles are eternal principles, they will continue to be there in spite of all the changes. Like law of gravity will be there no matter what is the change that is happening in the world outside. That is a fundamental law. In science they call it what? Constants. The value of pi, the value of light, this gravity, a lot of these, they will remain constant. Those are eternal. That way, those eternal principles of the world, of the human being, of the Supreme Creator, those eternal principles combined together is called the Veda. And hence this Veda, there is no one author of the Veda. No, then how do we call Veda Vyasa? So Veda Vyasa compiled it together. And this knowledge was available earlier only through the Guru Shishya Parampara, and it was heard by the disciple when it was said by the Guru and remembered by the disciple. Books were not there. Hence the Veda is also called as Shruti. Shruti means that which is heard, that which has been revealed. Either directly revealed when the person is quiet or heard from the teacher. Either of these. Hence the Vedic knowledge is a lot of intuitive knowledge. And many places you will find, you will say, if it's somebody's intuition, why should I follow? But it is not intuition about their thoughts. It is intuition about eternal principles. And these are verified also. It is not that one person has this intuition. There are many times you will find the same revelation has happened to different rishis. Like for example, Gayatri Mantra is not revealed only to Vishwamitra Rishi. There will be 2-3 rishis to whom that same mantra is revealed at different points in time. Same way Om Namah Shivaya, Mrityunjay mantra. So when you do that japa or you do a havan of any mantra, in that one has to remember to which rishi this is revealed. So in that it will be written Vasishta Rishi, Vamadeva Rishi, Kahola Rishi, like that. To which rishi it is revealed, how many rishis have known this, all that is known. So it is a time-tested knowledge, intuitive knowledge, and it is also holistic knowledge. It covers every branch of knowledge. I will share with you in some time the different classifications of scriptures in our culture. So that's very important for us to know. So it is a holistic knowledge which includes every aspect of life. But the main theme of this Veda, so there will be skills also, how to, so architecture and dance, music, literature, all that also is there in it. But what is the main theme of the Veda? That why should I study the Veda? So the main theme of the Veda are two. One is called Dharma, another is called Brahma. Because Veda is a means of knowledge to know that which is beyond the senses and the mind. Apart from whatever is known to the senses, the main theme of the Veda is to know that which is beyond the senses and the mind. So what is not known beyond the senses? What is that which is beyond the senses? Dharma means what is right, what is wrong. How do we know? What are the parameters to understand right and wrong? In any given situation, if something is very relative, how to identify that this is right, this is wrong? What are the principles that should guide my decision making? Those principles are what we call as dharma. So Veda speaks to us about dharma. And dharma at different levels. Manusya dharma is what? Raj dharma is what? Putra dharma is what? And not only tells us about various levels of dharma, how to live in harmony with these. So one is it speaks about dharma. And why is dharma not known to the senses? Because it is subtle. Now if you look at a building, can you say that this building, who is the owner of the building? Even suppose a name is written, the building has a name. Just because the name is there on the building, can we know who's the owner? Sometimes possible, sometimes not possible. By looking at a person, can we say what is the profession of that person? Sometimes possible. Sometimes completely wrong. Just because somebody has a stethoscope doesn't mean that person is a doctor. Even ordinary things like that, by seeing you cannot distinguish. Then how to know what is right and wrong, what is dharma? Hence the book of knowledge, which helps us to guide, which guides us in decision making, that is one is dharma. So that is the Veda. Then the goal of very life, is there something which is beyond this realm of this temporary realm? That knowledge is the knowledge of Brahman. The changeless substratum of the whole universe and the changeless self in my own personality. What is that which is changeless in my personality? If body, mind, intellect, thoughts, emotions, everything changes. So to know both these is the main purpose of the Veda. Everything else that we do in the Veda is a preparatory means for this. Now one thing we have to also know, that because Veda means knowledge and Veda deals with these two, any book that deals with these two is also called as Veda. That's the beauty of our culture. It's not just one book, 4 Vedas, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Samveda, Sarva Veda. That is in principle. That books wise there are 4 books. Otherwise Gita also is a Veda. Any book which speaks of these two, any other book which is written in English which is revealing these two also is a Veda. But traditionally we say these 4 books, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sam Veda, Sarva Veda. So if somebody asks you how many Vedas are there, what will you say?
Any book which gives us knowledge.
Don't tell anybody any book that gives us knowledge is Veda. They will get confused. If you tell them, mainly there are 4 Vedas. But they reveal Dharma and Brahma. If they are ready to understand that, then you say they reveal Dharma and Brahma, and hence any book that reveals Dharma and Brahma is called the Veda. So it is Anadi, it is Ananta, it is Apaurushaya, it is passed on through a Guru Shishya Parampara. And this knowledge is very important to be passed on through a Guru Shishya Parampara, because the topic being very subtle, just by reading a book one cannot understand. And that's why there is a tradition in our culture to learn this knowledge from a teacher. Go to the teacher and learn. And then pass it on to other people, so that Guru Shishya Parampara carries on. Now this Veda is divided, each Veda is divided into 4 parts. Those of you who did Tattva Bodh, if you remember, what is the first part? Swamiji, we don't remember the book only called Tattva Bodh. What was that? First is Mantra. Second is Brahmana. Third is Aranyaka. And fourth is Upanishad or Vedanta. Four parts. This is a broad classification. This is not a rigid classification. This is only for us to understand the structure, that how a Veda is divided, and to understand how the beauty of this knowledge and what the great rishis have done, that according to the human evolution they have categorized these books. So in initial level there will be desire fulfillment. Everybody wants to fulfill their desires. I want money, power, pleasure, prestige, popularity. Oh, I want that. And there's nothing wrong. Veda doesn't condemn any of that. That's why we said Veda is a holistic knowledge. It's not only spiritual knowledge. So Mantra and Brahmana portion have the rituals for desire fulfillment. How to make that mind single pointed, what are the things required for specific desires to be fulfilled, how the sankalpa works in this universe, how do you make this whole thing single pointed and achieve what you want. Our culture says whatever human mind thinks, it will be able to achieve. Long before the secret and the law of attraction came, the Vedas have said that there is nothing that a human mind cannot achieve. So even if desire fulfillment one wants, one can fulfill all the desires. And there is nothing wrong about that. So it is talking about the rituals. A person who has gone through this life, enough of rituals, enough of pleasure, power, etc. one has got. And one now understands that actually it is the mind which is single pointed, which is the secret. And one wants to tune up the mind to the higher. That person comes to the Aranyaka portion, these are called upasanas or different forms of meditation for single pointedness. How to make that mind single pointed without any external things, using certain supports in the mind, using certain form, different aspects are used as a support, mantra, visualization. These will make that mind quieten down. And that person who has seen enough limitations of the world, that no matter how much desire I fulfill, there is still some emptiness. And even when desire is fulfilled, actually happiness comes from me only, within my mind. So why not learn to quieten that mind directly, using a support? Why depend on anything outside? So the person starts doing upasana. So that is the Aranyaka portion. And the Upanishad portion is that which is about self-knowledge. That I want to know now, who am I? My mind has become quiet, I experience happiness. Again something happens, again the mind gets disturbed. But in me there is one entity which watches this mind. What is that? What is the nature of that mind? What is the nature of that self? That a person who knows, that person is Siddha, he has the experience fulfillment. every Veda has this broad division of mantra, brahmana, aranyaka and Upanishad. Sometimes you will find Upanishad in aranyaka portion or a mantra portion, so that way there is a certain fluidity. But there are these four divisions, and if you see these four divisions, they give us the whole scheme of life. So when we say study the Veda daily, it has many implications. One is that I must keep the macro picture in mind always. That what is the purpose of this human life? I want to experience supreme happiness, gaining which I don't feel empty and because of which I remain independent. I don't become dependent on things outside. How will that happen? That can happen only when slowly I learn to rise above my desires and know who am I. This is the scheme of life. So when we live in this life also, those four stages of life correspond also to the four purusharthas of life. That we all want these four things in life, right? Artha we want, that is wealth, prosperity, wealth. Kama we want, so we want pleasure and happiness. And if you base it on dharma, that is righteousness, and ultimately a person will seek moksha, is freedom. The Veda division is based on these. How to fulfill desires, artha and kama, based on dharma, and slowly move towards desirelessness, which is moksha, which is the Upanishads will reveal that knowledge to us. So when I study the Veda daily, it means to study the books which give me this clarity. And depending on which stage I am, what I want in life, that particular literature I can study more. So to study the Veda daily is to inspire the intellect. Before I do anything in life, the glory of human life is this buddhi. And if this buddhi is not sharp and capable of discrimination, that buddhi is of no use to us. Hence, when I know what is right and wrong, when I know the bigger picture, when I know that wealth is not the goal of life, wealth is a means in life. Even dharma is not the goal of life. Being good and doing good is a means in life. The goal of life is that supreme happiness, permanent happiness. These are all means to that. That clarity of thinking, and to maintain and sustain that clarity, the daily study is very important. Constantly when we are in touch with the subject. See, the empowerment of the body is very easy. There also we don't do it. That's a different matter. Proper food we eat, proper rest we take, go to the gym or do exercise or do yoga, whatever it is. That's the empowerment of the body. Empowerment of the mind is emotions, love, caring, appreciation, all that. But what to do for the buddhi? The empowerment of the intellect. And especially in today's age, when information overload is there, how much of the time goes in reading the objective information about things, about people, about the world, what he said, what he did, who did this, who went away with whom, all kinds of things. Who is wearing which type of clothes and what is trendy right now, and this black color is going on right now, and beard is going on right now, and I don't know what all. And let it go on. That is the way the world operates. But what is that which I should know to inspire myself? The scriptures when we read, the Veda when we read, and Veda includes, as I said, so many other books. Whatever helps me. Suppose you read any self-help book. What is the famous self-help book right now? Anyone? Anybody knows?
7 Effective Habits of Money.
अरे वो तो बहुत पुराना है. It's a nice book, no doubt, but I was just asking now. If there's anything now.
Hardwiring happiness.
Unwiring happiness. Hardwiring happiness. Hardwiring happiness. So one reads that, whatever, some book. the intellect has to be inspired with clarity of thought. And mainly because we are not given that clarity of thought in our education, nor have we been given practices to maintain that clarity of thought. So it gets clouded now and then. So even before Shankaracharya says any other practice, what Shankaracharya first emphasizes is get the clarity of thinking about life, about the goal of life, and what is the means to attain that. Most fundamental clarity is that what is the goal of my life and what is the means to attain that goal of life. Do I really feel, this we had done even in the introduction of Tattva Bodh, that do I really feel that the goal of my life is to experience supreme happiness? Even if we say no, not supreme happiness, just happiness of the mind itself is my goal of life. Do I really feel like that? Then I am a sadhak. And then whatever I do should be the means to that sadhana, that is a sadhana, to attain that goal of happiness, which is the sadhya. But if that bhavana is not there that I am a sadhak, I may read books and books and books, nothing will happen. So one is to maintain that clarity, fundamental clarity, that what is my goal of life, what is the means to that. Second also is when I study the Veda daily, it is a, what we say, it is that discrimination power that I am constantly sharpening. To sharpen this buddhi and make it very, very subtle. Thinking on subtle topics is necessary. The more I think of the world, the gross objects, the situations, the people, the memories, the more the intellect gets dissipated. The job of our life is to sharpen this buddhi. Not only to make right decisions in the world outside and attain success, but also to conserve that energy from all unnecessary diversions and focus it on experiencing happiness. How will that happen? When I know very clearly this is right, this is wrong. You just imagine what chaos happening out there in this world when the nationalism itself is questioned and warped, and what all is being told to people, and many people are praising that person also. That this is the future of the country, this is open thinking and what not. How much confusion, how much wastage of energy. So all that is because one is not clear and one goes on shifting one stand. So how to maintain that clarity and maintain that sharpness of the buddhi? If our buddhi becomes jad buddhi or it becomes sthula buddhi, then our purpose is lost. Through life, if there is one thing that I should be very careful of, it is my buddhi becoming sharp or am I becoming dull? The scheme of life that is given in the Vedas is to make the buddhi sharp. And the way in which we live, the buddhi can be sharper and sharper and sharper. If you see the life of Gurudev, even at 75, 77, the body has become weak, but the mind is so alert, the buddhi is so sharp and alert. So it is possible. And that is what one should achieve. How to make this buddhi sharper and sharper. So when I study every day that abhyas happens, I empower the buddhi and then I start my work. I start my day. So even for the beginning of a day, when it is a Vedo Nityam Adhiyatam, study the Veda daily, it is to, you can even begin the day with that intellectual empowerment. And that's how the day used to begin earlier. Nowadays the day begins with mobile, ends with mobile. So Shankaracharya has to write new Sadhana Panchakam. He will write Mobile Nityam Adhiyatam. You may say, Swamiji, I am smart. I will study the Veda on my mobile. Okay, no problem, study. We have nothing against the mobile. Read the Veda, that's all. On the mobile, off the mobile, wherever. This Vedic knowledge is a very, very beautiful, glorious knowledge. And this knowledge is, when we study this knowledge, we also get rooted in our culture. What is the basis for me to live my culture? Do I even know from where my culture is born? Am I not having a family? Do I not have children? Do I not have to pass on this culture? And this is such a beautiful culture of our country that rishis have evolved over so many generations, which is a spiritual culture, which will make that person experience happiness along with success. Success in the world outside and happiness in the world inside. That's the beauty of this culture. And the practices are rooted based on in this culture. Whatever is the practice, it may be a celebration of a festival. Tomorrow Shivratri is there. Now, why do we celebrate Shivratri? Why keep awake in the night? What is the significance of that? So I should know. And where is this written that we should do this? What is the source from where this is coming? It's very important to know that. Unfortunately, today what is happening is just for entertainment value, for commercialism, for making money, the authenticity is compromised. So many serials that you will see which are about our Puranas, etc., they will distort it in so many ways that one will wonder whether this even happened. And a very easy way to get away with that is saying this is all based on folklore. We are not trying to do exact depiction. This is a folklore, and then say anything. So what is authentic? Do I open my book and read what is written? One simple example I give you is that Gita Sar, that popular write-up about Gita Sar. Tum kya laaye ho, tum kya le jaoge, and all that. Nothing of that is written in the Gita anywhere. But it is going on popularly as Gita Sar. It is okay that the gist of that message is nice if I can implement, no problem. And that will change my life, that is a beautiful attitude to live my life. But how authentic is that? Where in the Gita is written that? And WhatsApp is one thing, Bapre Baap. In that, what all messages people send? Conversation between Krishna and Uddhav, that why Krishna did this in the Mahabharata. Cooked up by somebody in their head. Conversation between Vivekananda and Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. My God, that is most ridiculous conversation between these two masters. Vivekananda is saying, I don't have time in life. And Ramakrishna is answering that question. And like that you will see many of those. See, the essence of those things are nice to implement. But to put it in the words of Ramakrishna and Vivekananda, what is the authenticity there? Great masters like Vivekananda and Ramakrishna will not even talk all those things. And we just go on forwarding left and right that WhatsApp which keeps coming. So, if I want to know what is the authenticity of my culture, from where is the culture born, why should I follow certain things, why I should not follow certain things. If I am studying the Veda, I will get rooted in my culture. And why should I be rooted in culture? Because Gurudev said very easily, very nicely, he said, without culture, man is a vulture. There is nothing higher in life to hold on to. Senses will tempt or not. It's the easiest to fall for the sense enjoyments. There is nothing, no effort required for it. But great effort is required to go beyond the senses. So tomorrow, Shivratri day, if you do upvas, you will get this punya karma. All that may be said somewhere. But it is also said in other places, what is the essence of that Shivratri? That also I must study. I should know that. Shiva is that pure consciousness. Ratri means darkness. Darkness is that state. There is a darkness of ignorance because of which we suffer. And then darkness as a state when you have withdrawn from all the senses. What do you experience? Is absence of this entire world. And in that absence of that entire world, pure consciousness reveals to oneself. So the practice which one does to withdraw from the senses, from the world, and experience that pure consciousness, that state of alertness, absence of everything, that state is called Shivaratri. And that's what one is supposed to do, keep awake. Not just literally, it means awaken to that self. And so through the day I do the japa, upvas, I chant the name of the Lord. And 24 hours I live like that in an alert way. That is the way of life that is called Shivaratri. It's not only one night I should not sleep. And what all people do, Baba? They play cards not to sleep. And in the name of Shivji, drink bhang in Holi. And then say, why should we drink bhang in Holi? But Shivji never drank that kind of a bhang. Why don't you try drinking poison first? Because Shivji drank poison also. And maintain that in your throat, okay? And then if you are capable, then you drink bhang. That bhang is supposed to be that ecstasy that one experiences when the ego ka bhang happens. That is called bhang. That's somras, no? Somras. The Veda, there is a lot of things written in the Veda for somras, which is a product of certain rituals. And some of those rituals will lead to the destruction of the ego. And that destruction of the ego is that immortality. So, I have to know these things. If I don't study the Veda, I will not even know any of this. And it's very, very easy to say that, okay, it's so complicated, let it go. What am I doing in that? I am becoming an agent for the destruction of the culture. To build a culture takes many millenniums and generations. But to destroy the culture takes only one. One generation says, I will not do this. Over. Tell me how many of us here regularly chant Gayatri Mantra every day in the morning? Anyone? Every morning. See? Not even half the people. What was the time when in the Vedic times the Gayatri Mantra is a practice? Every person has to chant the Gayatri Mantra. That is our standard practice. Sandhya Vandan. How many people do? Very few nowadays. This many are also doing because one knows the importance of the Gayatri Mantra and so many scientific benefits etc. are there and maybe cultural traditions are there in the house, so we are doing. Many places it is stopped. After 3 generations, how many will be doing Gayatri Mantra? Hardly few people. How many people do Shraddha? Good. But many people will have that question, why even should I do it? Many people will be telling you, kyun kar rahe hai? And social pressure will be there. And we are not able to answer, so we say, okay, jane do. Why should I be perceived as old, outdated, superstitious? I am modern, liberal. And when from the West it will come, no, one Shraddha kit will come, then we'll go and buy it. And then we will do it. So why do I do all these traditional practices? What is the significance? If I know these and then I have chosen, the benefit of studying the Veda is also that I can adapt to the times. I don't have to wait for somebody to tell me how to adapt it to my situation now. When I study the Veda, I understand, oh, this is the principle. I adapt it to the times. So there are many of these benefits. So Vedo Nityam Adhiyatam, that every day I must study the Veda. So 4 Vedas we saw. The books are Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda and Atharva Veda. So there are 4 Vedas. Then there are they are called Veda Anga. There are limbs of the Veda. Why I am saying this right now is even for us to know that what is the body of knowledge that is there in our culture. That is called Veda Anga. These Veda Angas or the limbs of the Veda are for me to understand the Veda nicely. What are the Veda Anga? One is Shiksha. Shiksha means phonetics. People send their children nowadays for these classes, phonetics classes. Open the Veda Anga and read how phonetics are mentioned there. And so beautiful way how to use the tongue to pronounce different alphabets. One of the most unique features of Sanskrit is it is the language which is pronounced in the way in which it is written. So easy it is, Otherwise, you don't know which is silent and which is not silent, and you have to keep on remembering all that. And by mistake, you pronounce a word in a wrong way, then everybody will mock it. What an illiterate, uneducated fellow you are. Phonetics. Shiksha. Then, Kalpa has again some smaller rituals which help in preparation of the bigger one. Shiksha, Kalpa. Vyakarana is grammar. Sanskrit grammar. Vedic Sanskrit grammar is different. That is called Vedic grammar. Then there's what we know today is Panini's grammar. Much more simplified. But do you know the beauty of Sanskrit grammar? There are 9 different types of Sanskrit grammar. And Hanumanji is supposed to be a Pandit in all the 9 forms of grammar. Nava Vyakarana Pandit. Even Panini's grammar will take 12 years to study. Proper if you want to study Ashtadhyayi and all that. So many beautiful aspects of Sanskrit are there. So grammar, Nyaya, Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakarana, Chandas means prosody. What does that mean? The science of meter. So like Gita is in Anushtup Chanda. So each shloka will have 32 alphabets. Like Gayatri Mantra has 24 syllables. So those mantras which have 24 syllables, they are called Gayatri Mantra. Trishtup meter, Anushtup meter, different meters are there. So once you know the meter, then you know how to chant it, how to pronounce it, etc. Jyotish. Jyotish is a Vedanga. It is astrology. Just imagine what all people have done in those times to understand the influence of the planets on the human body and the mind, and to find the ways and means by which that effect of that can be neutralized or enhanced. So various kinds of things that they will tell you to do. Subjective things, objective things, some things to wear, some things to do. All those methods which are there to neutralize the effect of the planets. Again, it's an indicative science, not a defining science that if this is written, then this only will happen. No. This is an indication that this is happening. This may happen. And Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakarana, Chanda, Jyotisha and Nirukta. Nirukta is like glossary, Vedic glossary. These are 6 Veda Angas. The limbs. So if I study these 6, I will know the Vedas nicely. I can understand the meaning of the Veda well. These things today we don't even know. Earlier days when children used to study in Gurukul, they were taught all these step by step. First they will learn the Veda Anga, the limbs of the Veda, then they will study the Veda. And there are 4 Upavedas also. Actually 5. What are they? Ayurveda. What is Ayurveda? Very popular. Ayurveda is about health and well-being. Ayu, this is my age. So the knowledge about the health and the well-being of the body, how to maintain this body so that it's a means for sadhana, that is there in the Ayurveda. Ayurveda is not meant for sense enjoyment and to make the body fit and fine to just indulge in the world. How to keep the body fit and fine so that I will learn the knowledge of the self. Ayurveda. Then Dhanurveda is art of warfare. If you open that Dhanurveda and read, stunning things are written in missiles and warfare and metals and alloys and arrows and so many things they have written. Based on this, there are different rishis. They have discovered different other things. Vaimanik Shastra is another thing. About aeronautics, about spaceships, about flying, all that they have written nicely. So Ayurveda, Dhanurveda, Gandharva Veda. What is Gandharva Veda? It is about dance, music, all that. Then there is Sthapatya Shastra, is architecture. If you just see the kind of temples that people have built, I'm just talking of temples, forget everything else. What marvels in architecture they have, the knowledge of architecture. That Brihadeshwara temple in Tanjore, it is said that it is made in such a way that the shadow of the temple never falls on the ground. It will fall on itself only. And made from granite, that whole temple. Even today, if you want to cut granite, no, you need machines. You cannot just cut it like easily. They used to use wooden formations to cut granite in specific ways. They don't have those saw and granite cutters and all that. How they used to cut granite and make it in such beautiful ways and the shapes that they make out of it. You should see that whole temple is such a grand temple. Even this Kailashnath temple just near Ellora. You know, people go to Ajanta, Ellora. They know Ajanta and Ellora, but they don't know Kailashnath temple. Because Ajanta, Ellora have become that, UNESCO World Heritage Site or something. But Kailashnath temple is such a stunning example of a carving which has been done from top to bottom. It is one of the rarest temples which has been built from top to bottom, not from bottom to top. How they have, they've chiseled away so many parts of the rock and built from one huge thing from top to bottom. BBC or somebody had done that. History Channel or BBC, somebody did that episode, very nice episode, and they at the end of it concluded this cannot be made by humans, there must be some aliens who have come and made it. And you can see one X formation from the space in that temple, from the top. Man hours they calculated also, how many man hours it will take, because they were stunned that to destroy the temple, so many years it took and still they couldn't destroy the temple. Aurangzeb tried. So then how many man hours to build that temple? All that calculation they did. Just imagine what is the knowledge that these people had, and that knowledge fortunately even today is available to us, though it may be in not a complete state, but it is available, and why don't we open the books and read? So Ayurveda, Dhanurveda, Gandharva Veda, Sthapatya Shastra, and the last one is Artha Shastra, the science of economics. These are 5 Upavedas. So 4 Vedas, 6 Vedangas, 5 Upavedas. This is a body of knowledge which is only related to Veda. There are 18 Puranas also that we have. Puranas are the mythological stories. Some of them are imaginations and stories. Some of them have happened, like the Bhagavad Mahapuran, in that the life of Sri Krishna will be there. Many of those things have happened. Many other stories will be imagination, fiction. So 18 Puranas, 2 Itihasas. Itihasas means epics. What are our 2 epics? Ramayana and Mahabharata. Mahabharata is actually called as the 5th Veda. And everything is there in that Mahabharata. Through the stories it is conveyed so beautifully. Thousands of years ago, Vedavyasji wrote in one passing shloka in Mahabharata that the waves in the ocean are caused by the moon. And how many years after that, thousands of years after that, we understand now the power of gravity and how the gravity is creating that. So what is there in the Mahabharata is very stunning. That is the Itihasa Purana. So I'm just going to share with you this chart. Some formatting could be done better, but I was doing it very quickly, so I just made it. This is the body of knowledge that we have. Just for us to know and be proud, and also understand that when we say the word Hindu actually has come much later. Our culture is based on this Veda, and Veda being eternal, beginningless and endless, this culture of ours is called Sanatana Dharma. There is no word Hindu, by the way, in the Veda. Hindu word only is not there. And this word Hindu has come because of some people who couldn't pronounce the word Sindhu. So when we speak about Hinduism, people think Hinduism is a religion. People think Hinduism is only a religion and talks only about religious practices. No, this is what is the body of knowledge. You just see that paper if you have. I'll quickly run through this. Do you have? Everybody has? So knowledge in our culture is divided into two aspects, main. One is Paravidya, or it is called Aparavidya. Paravidya is the self-knowledge, intuitive knowledge of the self. When we experience oneness with the self, that realization is called Paravidya, supreme knowledge, experience of the self. That knowledge which leads to that is the Aparavidya. This is said in the Mundaka Upanishad. I am giving you a reference just for you to know. The knowledge division into Paravidya and Aparavidya. And Aparavidya is again divided into secular and sacred. Secular knowledge, I have not given anything there because secular knowledge includes all the objective branches of knowledge. Physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics, this, that. That is also there in our culture. But I have not written that here. Then you have the sacred. You see below sacred there is one circle. Actually that is meant for the next division. Below sacred, that has not got printed. What you have to write is Shruti. Just above revealed knowledge, eternal principles, the line which is there, you must write Shruti. And there is a second dot and a line, and which gives the division for practical application. So above that you write Smriti. Shruti and Smriti. Now this was a color document actually. So the Shruti and Smriti which was written there was very light. That color has not got printed in this black and white. So below sacred you have two divisions, Shruti and Smriti. So Shruti is the revealed knowledge, the eternal principles, which is what we saw, the 4 Vedas, 6 Vedangas, 4 Upavedas, and I am talking right now of the last, bottommost now, Vedangas, Upavedas. The third division is actually Niti Shastra. You can write Niti Shastra there. The last one, man. What is written of politics and administration? Yeah, that one. Yeah, you can write Niti Shastra. N-I-T-I, Niti Shastra, or N-E-E-T-I, whichever one you want to say. Niti Shastra. This is the body of knowledge which is about the Vedas. Quite a lot of the names are not printed only. I'll give you a better chart next week because lots of names are not printed. Smritis, Puranas, Itihasa, the name only is not printed. Okay. Anyway, that I'll share with you in the next class. Yeah, on the other side, but the title is not written. No? Smriti, Purana, Itihasa was supposed to be written below that. It's not printed because it was in a light color in that color document. So anyway, so that I'll bring it. So the idea here is that this is the body of knowledge that we have. And when we study this, we also come to understand the depth of our culture, that it is not only talking about religion, it is talking about every different aspect of life. And if I am interested in any specific aspect of life, then I can definitely go to that aspect, open that book, study that and understand so many deeper aspects. Unfortunate it is that we are not valuing this culture of ours. People from abroad, they come, they study, and they are translating our books. Many years ago, decades ago, Max Muller did that job. And how much he twisted our some concepts, the words like Aryan, etc., he misinterpreted, created an Aryan invasion theory and divided the whole country, sitting out there. Not a single time he has come to India. And even today that is happening. Rohan Murthy is funding one entire series of translations of our books, our Indian culture. And who is translating that? Professor Sheldon is translating that. What happened to Indian scholars? There are enough Indian scholars today. But there are many things that are happening in the country of which we don't know, and how the culture is systematically getting destroyed. What the people will know, what our children will know, is very scary actually. So when we say Vedo Nityam Adhiyatam, it is one of our duties to study our culture and preserve that culture. And not allow that culture to get destroyed, dissipated. You go and do your research and you will find on that what kind of translations are being done. So Chinmay Mission is now starting the Chinmay University for Indic studies, Chinmay Vishwavidyapeeth. We are going to get that approval now this month. Our job is to preserve that culture. Gurudev established the Chinmay International Foundation there in Cochin. And we will be creating departments of philosophy, Sanskrit, all that, and bring Indian scholars to preserve this culture, to translate properly, to make courses where people will understand that. That is what we are going to do now. It's another 20 years project. Huge project it is. But that is one of our responsibilities. One is doing that. So Vedo Nityam Adhiyatam is to study the Vedas for some of these reasons, to protect and preserve our culture, to gain clarity of thinking, to sharpen our buddhi, to make proper decisions. Every day, some book or the other can I read or not? Such a vast literature is available. If I say no, spiritual literature, Upanishads are very heavy, no problem. Read the Mahabharata, read the Ramayana, read the Puranas, read any of these, Artha Shastra, Nyaya Shastra, so many are there in this. You can read anything that you like. Taduditam karma svanushthiyatam. What? So one more point here is Vedo Nityam Adhiyatam is said. Adhiyatam means to understand. Patiyatam means to read. So it's not just said read. Though Vedic chanting also is good to do, but Shankaracharya was very, very clear and careful. He didn't say Patiyatam. Don't just chant the Vedas and not know what is the meaning of that. Our job is to understand the meaning and then to live that. Dhi means buddhi. Adhiyatam means to get convinced by the knowledge of the Veda. So conviction is very, very important, not just information. The reading must translate into conviction. So if I am studying the Veda, do I have the conviction that I am the seeker? Happiness is not in the world outside. How to seek that happiness within? That conviction is important because we live by conviction, not by just the knowledge. How to transform the knowledge into conviction? By constantly thinking about it, reflecting on it, sharing it or talking with people like-minded. Transform it into conviction and then live it. Vedo nityam adhiyatam taduditam karmasu anushtiyatam. Follow the karmas which are given in the Vedas. So So karma is given in the Vedas. What are those karmas? Does it mean we have to do lots of rites and rituals, etc.? We will come to that in our next session, that what are the karmas given in the Vedas and how to live that in our today's life. So the first hack for happiness is, which you can apply, is study the Veda daily. If you want to know more about Veda as a body of knowledge and how this classification is, and you want to know in brief what each of these books mean, there's a very nice book called The Vedas, written by Chandrasekharendra Saraswati of the Kanchi Shankara Math, and it is published by Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan. The Vedas. The Vedas written by Chandrasekharendra Saraswati. Chandrasekharendra Saraswati, who was the guru of Jayendra Saraswati, who is the present pontiff right now, his guru. And the book is published by Bhavans, Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan. Huh? Kanchi Shankaracharya. This book, The Vedas, is actually an abridged version of his earlier book, which is called Hindu Dharma. If you get that book and if you have interest, then you will know the foundation of Sanatana Dharma very clearly, the basics. It's a very fat book, this much it is. The Vedas. The Hindu Dharma is this much. The abridged version of that is the Vedas. And if you are not satisfied with Hindu Dharma and you want to still know deeper, the Hindu Dharma is actually a translation of his talks, which are translated into the voice of God. His voice of God are 7 volumes. So I am giving you enough material for 2-3 years. Every day you can read thoda. Just to know what is your tradition. Lot of those you can adapt to the times now. At least we will know now what is our tradition. Because today you are not going to be able to open the Veda and read directly.
Who is the author?
The same person. Chandrasekharendra Saraswati, his talks, actually he gave talks in the Kanchi Math in Tamil. The talks were called Daivattin Kural, the voice of God. Those talks are compiled into the 7 volumes by this Kanchi Math. And those are very big 7 volumes, how much you can read. So those 7 volumes have been concised into one book, Hindu Dharma. That Hindu Dharma also is fat. That is concised into the Veda. So depending on your level of curiosity, jignasa, you can take whichever book you want and read. And in this book Vedas, there is a beautiful chart at the end of the book. Big chart it will be. If you open that chart and you see the names of the scriptures of our culture are there in that. All this what I told you just now, it's only the main. So like 20 Smritis are there. Out of which Gita is only 1. If you want to know which are the other 19, all the names are given in that. We may only know Manu Smriti because people go on burning it. Manu Smriti, Parashar Smriti, Yajnavalkya Smriti, Bhagavad Gita, like that there are 20 of them. And the idea is, if we can't at least read the books fully, at least read the names and understand, oh, this much body of knowledge is available. So when we say Sanatana Dharma, there is nothing communal about it. It's not talking about only religion. It's talking about life as such, the holistic view of life. That Hinduism is that huge holistic way of life. It's not only one small religion doing some religious practices. So Vedo Nityam Adhiyatam. Next class we will see what are the karmas, how to live by those karmas. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hare Om Shri Guru Namaha.
Hari Om.